impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact.
Welcome one, welcome all to another week of Division 1 League of Legends. My name is Yanni. I am joined here by Alk Battery. Week 3, as we're chugging along through the season, sees the Boise State Broncos, who are 0-2, take on the West Virginia Mountaineers, who are also 0-2. Alk, both of these teams, one of them's going to walk away with a win.
Hey, that's going to be really exciting because we came into the season saying that it was likely the over-under for us was going to be whether or not Boise could actually win a game here in Division 1. And hopefully, I think they have a new roster, which we'll get into a little bit later. West Virginia obviously don't look like the strongest team in the conference, so there's a very real possibility we're going to see, there's a guarantee one of these teams will be winning their first series.
Yippee! And, every single win counts, right? When you're expected to be, near the bottom, you're fighting for some of those bottom spots. If you happen to be the best team near the bottom, that does mean that you might have an outside shot at kind of punching above your weight, maybe potentially get to one of those last slots for playoffs. That's obviously a ways away from right now, but it should certainly be an exciting match with a couple of players who are going to be in different roles, a couple of new players coming in, and a couple of players who are finally going to get their chance to shine.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. I mean, for Boise State, they're doing some roster swaps. I've been talking to Kelsey Moser behind the scenes, who's the coach for the League of Legends and the Valorant team, and a big portion is that they're bringing in some of the European players that are at the school to now play. So we're going to see whether or not they can actually kind of show up. They're diamond over on EUS solo queue, so we're going to have a lot of new faces. I know that for West Virginia, they've actually been having a team that one of the reasons why their games have had to move around the schedule is because their league team is almost pound for pound their Valorant team as well. So they have to share a lot of talent between the two. And I mean, having to play 2 different titles is a lot to ask.
Yeah, you have to get into 2 different mindsets because, for those who may not know, League of Legends and Valorant, completely polar opposite games, really. But it just goes to show how impressive it is that these guys can play at a pretty high level, that can go and win games in both. Obviously, 0-2 right now, but like these guys do have the talent. You can see that they're pretty good players, and I am excited to see what they're able to bring to the table. Let's see if we can go ahead and pull up these rosters because, as you said, a little bit of swapping around. You take a look at the Boise roster, 72-74 on the top side. It's going to be Hydro playing as Ego in the jungle, the Cake in the mid lane, Hysteria at 80 carry, and Lurs, who's going to be playing under Reconnaissance, which is a great name for a Recon main at support.
Yeah, we're 7-2-7-4, swapping from support to top lane. Does play a lot of Phil in his spare time, so we'll see what he's able to accomplish. But I think the most exciting parts for Boise State here tonight is Hydro and the Cake. I think that this 2v2 has actually been really interesting, even in their losses so far in the season. So despite them being 0-4 in game score, they have been, I think, some of the more promising members of the team, and obviously a new bottom lane. But their opponents, Mountaineers, as you had mentioned, West Virginia, showing up with Inox, Sour, Aeolios, Dinks, and Ensues. Ensues coming back after week 1. Inox returning after week 1 as well. Aeolios, last week in their game versus Stony Brook, he did get slammed in the 1v1 versus Dancing with the BL, but he also had joined the team the day before their series. So wanted to give him a little bit of grace. This is now, at least a week here that he gets to play with the boys, and now swapping over to mid lane.
Yeah, there's big swaps over here. I mean, like Inox is an example, typically a jungle player. He's been studying Alois, the Dr. Mundo guy, working on his fundamentals, trying to be an asset to the team. He's played League on and off since Season 3, and this is really his first time competing in competitive League of Legends. So, hats off to him. Wishing him the best. And Zeus is a guy that I had an opportunity to chat with a little bit before the game today. And I was taking a look at his OP.GG. This guy has gone from what I think like silver at the end of split 4 to, or not split 4, I'm sorry, the last split last year in 2024. So like he's an emerald now with like a 60% win rate over like 200 games. This guy's a higher rank than me now. Like, I mean, this guy is putting in a lot of work, and I'm very excited for him. He's talked about how like playing against these Grandmaster and Challenger players is really, really stifling, and he's not going to get much quarter with Lurs over on the other side.
That's fair. When we're looking at Asteria and Lurs, though, they are players that came over to Boise State, and for Lurs in particular, I think it is going to be interesting to see what he can put down in support position. We've seen that just yesterday's games, that a player like Cryogen got to take over the map very, very early on thanks to vision priority. And I know that Boise State have been working very hard at just trying to teach fundamentals for a squad that doesn't have too much comp experience nor really have succeeded here in Division 1 so far.
And having Kelsey Moser as your coach is probably one of the best people that you could have, right, when it comes to fundamentals about the game. I mean, obviously, you and I could glaze her all day long because,
sure,
nobody, we've worked with her quite a bit. We know that she knows her stuff. And I am excited to see the further growth of this Boise State team. What I am interested in, though, is how is Lurs going to look off of Recon? Because I'm going to be honest with you, there's almost no circumstance where this person should be allowed to play Recon. He's got over 500 solo queue games right now this season.
God.
On Recon. Just on Recon.
Way too much. I want to keep us moving, though, because we have a pretty tight schedule here. We have our head-to-head Hydro versus Sour. It's a matchup in the jungle. Despite all of the roster changes, despite all of the differences and all of the losses, one of the more consistent members for these teams, Sour, had a pretty decent Hecarim game against Stony Brook last week. Unfortunately, could not get over the hump and get themselves their first game win. But I feel like when these teams are able to perform, and even in some of the lowlights, I do think that their junglers are having to work with a lot less than some of the other teams here in the league.
I think the big question is Hydra going to be able to match the sheer damage that Sour is going to be able to put out, right? Sour really likes playing these Talons, these Talias, Pantheons, obviously can play the meta. Whereas, Hydro does have a little bit in his bag, right? He plays some Graves, he plays some Lee Sin. So I do wonder if he's going to opt in for aggressive junglers himself, and they're going to go head to head, try to set the other one behind. Because it looks like if you can set one of these guys behind, you'll have a much easier time throughout the game.
I mean, a large portion of why we actually have seen Boise lose, and even West Virginia, is the solo lanes just can't stand up to their opponents a lot of the time. I mean, the Stony Brook game was pretty tough to watch for both of the solo lanes. For Boise State, it was, okay, we have a decent 2v2 in a Viego and Syndra game. It was game 2 versus Ohio State, but they messed up the 2v2 early on. They died to Five Fire and the rest of the crew, and then the lanes just kind of fell apart from there. And obviously, it is a lot different now. You have a new top laner coming in, so I want to see what a reinvigorated Boise looks like, what a West Virginia, who now has 3 weeks of games to play and even a new mid laner. Like, does this new blood actually add something to the team? And for us, it's who's going to find their first series win, because playoffs to make it in is top 6. If you're not going to be able to you have to be able to get a win, not only tonight, but you have to at least be able to find a win against other teams like a Utah as well.
Yeah, and you talk about these solo laners. I'm really interested also in the matchup between the Cake and Aeolus, right? Because these are guys that Aeolus certainly has a bit of a rank advantage on him, but listen, the Cake, quick learner, and plays some of these champions that you have a lot of carry power on, like, likes playing a Rise, a Victor, can even pull out the Smolder occasionally. I do wonder if they're going to be able to put the ball in his hands.
So we're getting through draft. A lot of topside focus coming on through for West Virginia, or for Boise, I should mention, Boise State. Mbessa and the Yorick gone already. In my mind, it kind of feels like you're trying to opt in for a tank matchup for 7-2-7-4. Again, a support player moving into the top lane. So if you're just trying to go in blind, you're going to say, look, probably want you to be playing an Ornn, a Scion. We want to pick champions that are not going to get too abused in these matchups.
Yeah, I do wonder if that Mbessa ban is maybe toward mid lane, because Aeolus does play a lot of it, and it is a champion that we have seen occasionally pop up in the mid lane at the highest levels of play. It's pretty rare, but when you have a player that's moving from top to mid lane, that's where you're going to see some of the more weird stuff come out. I'm imagining like an Aurelia, a Vladimir, a Jace potentially to come out there later. We're going to see Shen get taken away as well for West Virginia.
We've also seen Mbessa jungle here. That was over for Stony Brook's junglers, Tempest. 7-2-7-4 getting the Rumble. Interesting with the bans, though. I feel like the Mbessa matchup is not too hard, but maybe thinking about it for later. But Rumble obviously gives them strong team fighting as the game goes on. That's not possible. So already not possible. That Teemo ban, I think that is a missed ban from our teams. It's not exactly the correct champion. So want to make sure everybody at home is good.
I am wondering what that Yorick actually is, or if maybe that wasn't a Yorick ban after all. I would assume it is based off of what we're seeing. So we'll get tapped into that. Okay, there we go. We have a couple of swaps coming out here. Okay. All right, and now we have a Rengar lock-in. All right, so this is exactly what we wanted to see out of the jungle, I think, is two high damage junglers coming in, and they're just going to smack each other in the face.
I'm predicting a Rumble somewhere in this draft now.
Oh, are you?
Oh, it's a Rise.
Wait a minute, hang
lane?
on.
All right. I think the draft is a little bit boomed right now. Sorry for everybody at home. Hopefully we'll get that fixed for you before the games. Yanni, I want us to take a step back and give us mostly some stuff to talk about here. If you don't know, over on division1.gg, we do have pick'ems available.
We do.
And so if we could fly those up for us. This is currently the lines that are available. Now, fortunately, if you're watching this broadcast, you're already too late to submit your pick'ems. But if you want to talk about kind of our thoughts, maybe what we're looking for, I think you and I have very similar lines that we chose.
Yeah, so I'm with Hydro and Aeolus over on kills just because I'm expecting a game like this to be a little bloody, right? And, if the champion choices end up being held out, maybe these numbers are looking quite good, potentially even in the first game. But I also got Boise as my match winner. I don't know about you. Do we differ there?
I think before these substitutions came in, I had West Virginia winning because Boise, again, the lanes just looked really poor. And weren't able to get much done. But now that I know that there's, a bit of change in personnel,
the knowledge,
there's some slightly stronger lanes, I actually have Boise on my pick'ems as a win. I feel like they have been making okay improvements. I'm sad to see that Paint Liquor is no longer playing. I feel like he was one of the brighter spots on this team, but I have heard a lot of good things from Kelsey Moser, and I do think that if there was ever a time for Boise to get a win, it has to be either against West Virginia or against University of Utah.
Not only a bright spot for that team, but also certainly a D1 name that is one of the greatest competitive League of Legends names I've seen in my life. It's a great one. But yeah, I'm glad we're in lockstep here. We seem like we're going to have very similar things. And, hopefully if you were able to get your pick'ems in before they locked up, you have got some ones you're feeling pretty confident about at home. And for whatever reason, if you're just learning about pick'ems for the first time, no worries. We do them for every single game, regardless if it's League of Legends or Valorant. So keep an eye on that. We got a nice leaderboard over on the side here too. You're tied for second on the leaderboard right now. I know you're chasing LeBron James. I don't know
like
who
a lot
that
of
is.
people are chasing LeBron James, to be fair. But I want to take, he's literally, the LeBron James person is up one pick over me, which means that they got a pick about a player over under that I didn't, which kind of sucks. I am getting word from production. We are getting close to the start of the game. So sorry for everyone at home that was looking forward to the draft. Again, we're having some production issues on our side. Hopefully that can be taken care of and solved for game number 2.
Yeah, hopefully so, because, I love me a good draft, especially. I wanted to know what they were cooking because, I thought we were cooking with Rumble, and instead we're cooking with Rengar, and I'm like, I don't even. Now I'm like really anticipating what we're gonna see when we get into game, because it could be anything, and we are heading into our first game of this best of 3 series between the Boise State Broncos and the West Virginia Mountaineers. All right. Cook. Oh, well, there's a Vagar. Oh my God.
Wait, there's a Talia jungle. There's a Talia jungle. Oh my God.
There's a tower is pulled out.
Yeah, this is incredible. I mean, one, it's a tank top lane matchup, so not looking too hot for some of those pick'ems. But when we look at what this team has, I don't know if West Virginia are really going to be able to break through. I like the tools that they have to play against a champion like an Ivern, and I do think that this Boise State team can
we're flashing.
Yeah, you got the root.
All right. Suze is out. Continue.
All right. No flash from Alistar. Also is going to have to start late in this lane. I like the fact that Boise State are pushing them out to delay the recall. Minion waves have just now spawned, and by the time Alistar walks back, it means that this 2v2, I don't think they'll get a massive CS advantage off of this, but what I think it means for the game is even with a Sivir, this Vayne and Braum could play really, really aggressive in this lane. So that's what I want to see. I think Boise State are on a little bit of a timer here in this game. I was mentioning how short range their team can be, but things like an Ornn definitely give you a lot more ways to play and give you more range versus what is looking from West Virginia like technically a burst composition. They really want to try to make a single pick onto one player.
And it's going to be so hard, right? There's a Braum, there's an Ivern. I mean, even Rise is going to get tanky later as we're fighting here. Insu's, remember, has no flash, does have a heal in the back pocket, is going to burn it. Hysteria, though, burnt that Ghost, and that means Insu's goes down for first blood. Now we're going to look over for Dinks. One more auto attack will tag him. He will be forced to flash away.
And we are 2 minutes into this game, and there are, 6 summoner spells blown in bottom lane already. Asteria still has the flash. Reconnaissance, if they land a flash Q onto this Sivir, could end up being a kill, but Dinks not going to even bother, not going to even try to look for this play right now. Saw early vision in both sides of the jungle, mostly in favor of West Virginia. So they know where this Ivern is. They have an idea as to where he could be starting. Very good start already, though, for Boise. Something we haven't been able to say all season long.
One thing I want to talk about and shift a little bit up. Oh, we're seeing another fight break out here. Maybe we're just going to have to keep talking about bot lane. Dinks is stepping up really far because Asteria is very low, and he dies. Now Reconnaissance is going to be in trouble. You have nobody to hop to, and Zeus is definitely going to get a little bit of extra damage, and that's a double kill for Dinks. And just like that, West Virginia's flipped the lane.
That's fine. I think it's fine. They were obviously very aggressive for the side of Boise State. It's hard for Vayne to ever get a Crash versus Sivir, so I think probably just recognizing, like, hey, we probably have to fight on the minion wave. If we die, it sucks. It is a double kill going over to the enemy Sivir, but we need this lane to move. We need to get it in a better spot, and now the wave is crashing in favor of Boise State, so I think neither team is too upset, but obviously for West Virginia, feeling good about the fact that they're able to get at least a response for their bottom lane.
You saw Ego able to head toward the bot side, pick up that bottom crab. Ryze is going to frequently have a move on Veigar. This is a bit of a tough matchup here in the mid lane because of that. I am curious about the start and the summoner choice. Not the summoner choice, I'm sorry, the rune choice for the mid laner here over on the side of West Virginia, because oftentimes you're going to get tagged by the Ryze before you can tag him. I really like a summoner spellbook Veigar personally.
Well, I mean, you say that, but Ryze cannot outrange you if you have Event Horizon on his head. So
This is true.
Reconnaissance, nice.
Yeah, I like this play here. We're going to get a stun off, but a big double knockup coming in from Ensues. It's going to force out the Braum shield. It's going to be a little bit of extra damage. A stun on top of it. It's going to be a problem. Ensues. Oh,
Nice.
It's a flash condemn. Getting it done. Asteria is going crazy right now.
This is really tricky, though, because they've had to use a lot of summoner spells. They're playing really aggressively. Sivir is going to very freely catch this wave, still has barrier as well. So it's a big investment. They're punishing the support matchup really, really well coming in from Boise State. But I'm still a little bit worried. I mean, fighting in the minion wave versus Sivir, we saw Asteria almost went down. If there was an Ignite available for Ensues, maybe that ends up changing the matchup. So it's a good find from Boise State. My worry, though, as this game goes on, is who is going to wave clear here for Boise State? Who is going to be able to sit in mid and contest? Priority is a big part about playing the game at a competitive level, and as this game goes on, it'll be more and more simple for West Virginia to just say, hey, we're going to plant our Sivir in one of these lanes, priority around the mid lane, and just play from there.
Yeah, Sour and Dinks, I mean, this is a really scary siege that they have going on. And, you know, Veigar dropping the Event Horizon, as you see one getting used right here, would be very problematic for any of these players to run into. And the Cake is going to take a lot of damage, forced to flash out. Reconnaissance is here, and a root on top of the Veigar. They're going to go right after him, a big double knockup. He levels up to 6, and that means he'll be able to flash away and survive.
Wow, nobody dies there. A lot of summoner spells used. Both mid laners not having flash, I think advantage to West Virginia. The fact that now they can punish this. The Cake walked into the Event Horizon at the very end. That's unfortunate, but if the timing from West Virginia was a little bit cleaner there, I feel like they would have been able to posit a kill. So right now it is about playing around the lanes. This is a timer where I think Boise State have priority. You can see that they're stopping Ensues from walking in.
All right, Ensues is going to get rooted up, and that means this area is going to get close. They layered the CC so well. He's forced to flash away. The Condemn does catch him, but he's too far away, and now Sour finds himself in a little bit of trouble. Flash over the wall as Asteria really wants these kills. Another root goes down, and that kill's going to go over to Reconnaissance. We have a teleport coming in from the Ryze on the bottom side as well. Looks like the play is
Gotta
over.
watch the grass. We gotta watch the grass with the Undying plays right now. 7-2-7-4.
All
No!
gone. Clancy flashes away, but Inox is going to flash after him and get the solo bolo.
That's a good top lane play. I mean, he's up 30 in this matchup. It's not a... This matchup versus Sion is a little tricky. It's slightly favored into the Sion because he gets to basically dictate when you use your spells as Ornn. But still, going down this much, Ornn is a champion that I would classify as one that really loves to have experience. Obviously, he gets a lot of value from his items thanks to his passive, even if he's behind. But you really want to make sure that you're catching mini waves, that you're getting those experience markers so that you can hit level 13, level 14, and start handing out those masterwork items. So far, no objectives being taken on either side. We're going to have grubs spawn in a few here. So in terms of side laning, I don't think either team is really looking at it as a strength. It's more so about which one of these teams is going to have the ability to augment their turret taking power.
I do worry that Inox might be able to make a lot of hay, especially with the way the 1v1's been going. But I do think you're generally right here that it's just going to be all about, like, all right, we're making ourselves much better. And, you know, to that, I think West Virginia actually could utilize these quite a bit better than Boise because of the siege power that we talked about earlier that they're going to have later in the game.
You say that, but then I look at the turret plates right now, and no team has hit a turret plate quite yet, despite all the action.
It's going to take some time, you know.
I
Give them some time. All right, we're seeing Ego show up to the top side here. Inox is quite tanky, doesn't have his ultimate. Good side steps means that you're not going to get much more than a little bit of damage.
Daisy was available. I think if Ego had just waited for 7274 to land the stun and the knockup, that probably just turns into a free play. They're moving Reconnaissance up. It seems like as a response, West Virginia are going to start up the Dragon. It's a little late, but ultimately, I don't think it's going to matter because there's not really an ability for Boise State to actually end up contesting this. What it does mean is Sivir is not on the wave anymore. Vayne is picking up solo experience, and that could be a game changer considering we've already seen Asteria and Reconnaissance pull off a lot of great things here so far.
That's the real cost of taking objectives, everybody, is that sometimes going to lose out on a little bit of tempo on certain champions and miss out on some vital golds. We do see West Virginia walking into this jungle. It's going to be another takeaway of these chickens. Zigo is going to come in just a little too late. Sour doing a pretty good job of farming up as much as he can.
He does have ultimate if he really wants to make this play. They're trying to trap Cake.
Good seismic shove.
It's a little late.
Yeah, it's going to be Vagar stacks, though. That's the biggest thing. If you're not getting the kills, at least you're picking up the stacks.
Sour has some interesting pathing because he has bottom lane camps that he can hit here as bottom quadrant. You're ahead of the Ivern, which I think is nice, especially for a champion like Talia who farms really, really fast, especially the changes that we saw from her on the last couple of patches. But you could turn into a very easily ganking jungler by just throwing down the Weaver's Wall behind a lane that's a little too far up. See that Ego getting spotted on this wave is very good here for West Virginia. And now they get to hold the lane. You're playing against Sivir. She gets to dictate how and where the wave ends up moving.
Not only that, you're soaking up some EXP away from your Vayne and your Braum as 72-74. And a little bit of trouble here. And Inox does have his ultimate as well. The knockup is going to go down. 72-74 will fall at the hands of Inox once again.
Yeah, that's because he ended up missing his E, doesn't get the knockup, and then puts himself right in range. That's really unfortunate. Finally, we're seeing turret plates taken here. Almost down to 2 plates in topside. There's no teleport either from 7274, so the Scion can be a menace for the rest of Boise, but I don't know if he has necessarily the backup, and the positioning is going to be really important. Remember, Inox didn't play last week. He was playing in their first week versus St. Clair, a 0-2 loss versus that team.
Oh, we're going out for a full all-in fight. Asteria looking to get in all the auto attacks, gets exhausted. Things getting chased away. Looks like we'll have... Oh, no, Asteria is just tumbling forward. This is crazy. Asteria is so low now, but Dinks on the backside forced to burn the barrier, does get stunned up, but Ensues is doing a good job of buying a lot of space. One more auto attack will do it. Ensues, oh, come on, cast the spells, go get him. Asteria is the one that gets knocked up. Dinks is coming through. He's trying to keep these kills for Dinks. Dinks gets flashed.
Dinks!
Oh my goodness, manages to find the kill. It's a 2-0 for West Virginia, and now Ego getting blasted there by the Primordial Burst, but it's not enough damage.
Oh my, that's a huge win coming in for West Virginia. Boise State, their bottom lane, thinking they can play a lot more aggressive, lose a ton of summoner spells, and it's the team without grubs that is getting plates. Top side, they've gotten 2 plates for Inox. Now on bottom lane, 2 plates, plus this massive wave that has been crashed here. West Virginia winning the 2v2 and winning all around the map at this point.
Yeah, the only thing they're not really outright winning is the mid lane, but even then, you scale quite well. As this Veigar, you're going to have that value in that event horizon that you mentioned earlier. We'll see if that value comes to play for this next dragon. It's not for a little while, a minute 45 seconds, but I'm sure West Virginia, with the scaling that they have out of mid and bot lane, would be more than happy to pick up a second dragon.
Look at this timer. We're at 12 minutes. Completed already the Hollow Radiance and topside and the Yuntal Wild Arrows, plus completed boots. So very, very paid from the side of West Virginia's bottom lane. We're going to get spotted on this Tribe Rush board.
There we go.
We're just going for it. And Sue's not here.
Sour did not get stunned, and Sue's take a little bit, but that was a huge seismic shove. And that means that this fight is certainly going to go the way of the Mountaineers. Reconnaissance, you're going to fall next. It's a double kill for Dinks.
At a certain point, we need to just move this Vayne into the mid lane, let Rise play side. Dinks now, it's another half wave that's going to be missed here from Boise State. Their bottom lane did so well early on, but now we're here at 13 minutes. They're 2 and 3, 3 and 6 in total between the both of them. Enox are trying to make a play in mid.
No! Oh, okay, good flash from the cake, but the problem is you're on the wrong way here. Now, the good news is there's no CC to be had, so you're able to realm warp to safety.
But now they're just losing all across the map. That's more CS that's going to be missing, as another wave is going to get pile drived into mid. This is almost 4 plates in bottom side. 30 seconds before the next play is happening. Seems like Ensues does want to see if he can try to go for it. There's no vision here for Asteria. It's going to be a single ward placed inside of the Tribe Rush.
All right, Veigar in a little bit of trouble here. It's easy to run down this champion. Doesn't really have the backup right now, but Sour will now reveal himself. An opportunity for a seismic shove, but he's going to pull the cake closer. That means the cake will be able to get there first.
All right, so what exactly are we playing for at this time for both teams? Because Dragon is spawning. This would mean that West Virginia, because Boise State just used their turn to make this play into mid, they're going to have to reset. Ego especially has a lot of camps that he has to get back to right now. And West Virginia are going to have both their Sivir and their Talia out onto the map and ready to start this objective. Doesn't seem like they want to contest at this time. There's a wave that Dinks needs to push. Aeolios does have teleport for this. We're finally getting some... I thought there was going to maybe be a lane swap, but because Cake was making his way on over. But West Virginia are finally going to start up this dragon. And, giving themselves potential dragon stacking as a way through this game is definitely a smart one here.
I like what Inox is doing here. We did talk about he was a big fan of the Big Mundo streamer, Aloy. He's going to go ahead and proxy this wave and just be a general nuisance.
I mean, look at what his counterpart is doing. 7274 is also catching the waves in between the turrets, so... Tank top laners, all we're doing is scaling. We're getting gold, we're getting ourselves solo experience. 7274 probably down half a level at this point in the game, 15 minutes. This is such an important game for both of these teams. I know that the series record, 0-2, for a lot of people, probably not going to be too inspiring, but for these players, and especially for these programs, in the first semester of Division 1, trying to make playoffs, I think, is a very big goal. Just at the bare minimum. Let's make top 6. Let's try to get ourselves into playoffs. Everything that happens afterwards is, up to be decided. But especially for Boise State, talking with Kelsey Moser, it's, I want to get these guys game time. If we can maybe get them to play another season, that's the more important part for me. Seeing Inox use the ultimate and the flash to get out from this, but she wants this to be a positive and a learning experience for these guys, because to her and to Boise State, if this team doesn't exist, or if this team, a majority of them stop playing because of this season, she'll consider it a pretty big failure. I think that that's fair.
Yeah, I agree, and it's already putting so much work into the program, right? And I've had players that were not of the highest ranks, right, and had to teach them a lot of the fundamentals of competitive league, and it's something that's so hard to grasp. It's such a difficult game, as Inox is going to have a difficult time right now. Might be the first time he's had a lot of difficulty, but the shutdown will go over to Asteria. That is a big member to have.
Oh, yeah, that's also gold. Its first turret going down. Oh, Inox gets the kill as well. Onto Reconnaissance, Hollow Radiance, and the Zion Death Chamber making a lot of good work. This is another Herald play where 2 turrets go down, maybe even an inhibitor tower at 16.5 minutes. Cake sending himself in.
All right, I like this move here by Sour to charge it in after seeing the Realm Warp come through. It's a pretty savvy move there, if not a little unspectacular. And Asteria on the bottom side, going to pick one up of his own, and a huge injection of gold into this vein now.
Yeah, but look at what else is happening around the map. Like, the map is torn apart in favor of West Virginia, and you also get to take all of the topside camps, and you got 2 turrets. I feel like West Virginia are very happy with their state in the game. They're 2 dragons up with a scaling composition. They're 4,000 gold plus 2 turrets in general. I think that Boise State, they haven't done a lot to really inspire confidence outside the first 5 minutes. Now it's a 3rd turret as well. Dragon's going to be spawning in 2, and I still feel like we haven't really seen Boise State put together the game plan from draft.
Knox gonna be rooted up here, and now they're gonna go all in for him. Now his ultimate's back up. He's gonna drop it, so he'll be able to get out. And I want to ask, when you take a look at these comps, right? Obviously, we mentioned how West Virginia's got a lot of good scaling with the Vhagar, with the Sivir. Over on the other side, Boise, with the Rise, with the Vayne, they do get a little outranged, but they've got good protection with the Braum. They've got extra shields coming out from the Ivern, and of course the ornaments later, and the CC Ornn can provide. Do you think there's a world where, we get later into the game, maybe 30, 35 minutes, where they're able to fight against this West Virginia team?
I think it's possible on 3 and 4 items that Boise State can make a play, but it requires for this whole team to basically bought in that Asteria is going to carry this game. He has to get the Masterwork items. He needs to get a couple more tank items, maybe a Terminus, a Jock Show as well.
Big flash away. All right, the Cake is forced to flash away, but he's going to get run down, stunned up, and is dead. Dinks is going to get kill number 6. Over the bottom side, Inox is going to get traded out in one more tumble. Asteria will be able to pick that one up, but it's a mid lane turret going the way of West Virginia.
See, but that's like my problem here, is that, yes, Boise State are getting kills for Asteria. That's great. That's what this composition wants to do. Give her the Ivern, give him the Braum, but they're just losing out so widely across the map. It's going to be on West Virginia to keep this game up and in tempo for them. Dragon, for me, is going to be so important now. It's a Hextech Dragon. They want to make sure that they're staying up in tempo across these objectives, because if they give up this next Dragon, that's another 5 minutes that Boise State gets to scale into this game. Not even just to mention the Otacon that's going to spawn in 30 seconds on the bottom side of the map. Boise State are completing items here. West Virginia, they don't have control of the bottom side. They have no vision at all, except for a single control ward inside the Dragon Pit that I expect is going to get cleared out now.
And this would be a tough Dragon for West Virginia to lose, because we know that Hextech Soul, a very powerful one, that will definitely be what would put West Virginia ahead if they're able to secure that. We see some pings going down, but this has already been started. It's below 4,000 HP now, and Sour is not around. It's going to go the way of Boise. We're going to see a knockup come over. Inox is going to be the target, but here comes the rest of the team.
Oh no!
By the Vhagar cage, and the Vayne immediately hits the turret. Paul the Forge God coming through, but it's far too late and far too wide. And on top of it, Sour is going to ride the Weaver's wall to a fight win for West Virginia. Otacon's going to go to them too.
Oh my god, Aeolios completely makes or breaks that fight. That should have been a win here for Boise. They get the Dragon, and they're able to find a win. I mean, he gets down a massive Event Horizon, and because of the Ivern interaction with his Q, both Asteria and Ego fly themselves through the stun. So that's how he gets all this crowd control. And Aeolios, a player who he was playing top lane last week versus Stony Brook, was a walk-on a day before the lineup even was submitted for the show. So I think it's incredible that we're seeing this growth from this team, and a pretty strong team fight. Now they're up 6,000 gold, plus the Otacon giving them a lot of experience.
And you know this guy's got some hidden lore if he's gone from top lane to mid lane and is pulling out Vhagar. That's not a champion that you pull out unless you've really played this guy a lot. And while he hasn't had the largest impact when it comes to the stat sheet, that fight was a big differentiator, and he's only going to have more impact as this game draws on. His Rod of Ages is going to tick over to match the Cakes. He's going to be now level 15 in a couple of moments. He's got those upgraded boots for the extra penetration, and now we've gotten Suze up a little too far without his team. Is going to be forced to use his ultimate, and now Inox maybe fancies a fight. Ego is forced to flash away, and Reconnaissance could be stuck. He's able to hop away, but we're going flashes. We're going all in. We're selling out for Reconnaissance. He might hit a 4-man knockup, but he's going to get knocked up himself, and it's going to be another kill going over to Dinks.
And there's no Baron to play for, but you're going to take control of this entire map. We're going to go for another mid lane turret, tier 2 this time, the prize. Sour has Weaver's Wall if he really wants to go for it, but it's now just going to be West Virginia. How do we move our influence across the map? That was an aggressive play started by Boise. We're still waiting for Asteria to be that carry. He has an upgraded Blade of the Ruin King. Can he get to a third item? I don't know if they have enough time. The only thing that's really going in their favor is that they got that last dragon, so this is not a sole dragon fight that they're playing for in 2 minutes.
Yep, any extra time, as we mentioned earlier, Boise will take. And yeah, things are starting to get a little worse. Last couple of fights not really going their way, but luckily for Boise, that Baron is not on the map yet. It's going to be in about 2 minutes, so any fight you lose after that, that is going to loom large over you and be a potential game-ending play.
All right, get a bit of time to reset, draw their marks. Boise State still have a lot of ways to play. I think, unfortunately, look at we haven't touched on the jungle. What is going on between Ego and Sour? I mean, yes, Ego's losing a lot of his jungle camps, but you're down almost 130 CS.
He's dropping Ego.
In this role. I mean, sure, but you're dropping too many camps. You got to finish your items, right? Like, your items as an enchanter, Ivern, are not very expensive. So, and you're kind of the linchpin that helps Asteria win these games. There we go. These are probably the two important items you're gonna have all game long. Both an Ardent Sensor for that attack speed steroid and a Mikhail's to help with making sure that Asteria basically gets a free cleanse.
I do wonder what we're going to see with a third item, if Ego's able to get to a third item. We've seen so many times Redemption on Ivern be the move, and obviously this item's caught a nerf recently. You know, I think that they're all in on the Asteria plan, though. We'll see if Asteria is able to take them to the Promised Land. Having a solid game for himself, but again, just staring down the sheer power on the other side, especially even Sour, who is going full damage, completely selling out for it. See, Inox over on this top side jungle, he's going to attract a little bit of attention here. The question is he actually going to be in any trouble? The answer is no, and that means the push on the bot side for West Virginia.
Push in mid lane. I mean, Sour gets to take this wave, then he gets to take another camp of these Raptors away from Ego. Aelios and Dinks just hitting on the bottom side, so all of the outer towers now gone for Boise State. This is about as bad as it can get, despite how, I don't want to say how even this game has been, but it is really continuing to get out of control for them. Inox now, they're potentially trying to flank onto Asteria.
Yeah, a little pinch that could be coming in. Let's see the seismic stuff. Sour's going to find a big knockup onto Asteria. A double knockup as well. Asteria getting shields, but getting stunned and getting a rock thrown right at his face. Call the Forge God coming through. It's still going to hit 2 members, but the fight is still on. The cake is on the backside, but is completely alone, and he's going to get eaten like a slice of cake. Ensues frontlining, absorbing so much damage, but there's no more damage to actually put out. It's the tankier and supportive members of Boise still alive. And the Dragon going over to West Virginia, that's their sole point.
Mountaineers going to grab themselves sole point. Problem I'm thinking about is it actually going to matter at this time? 7274 barely survives the Primordial Burst. I imagine that West Virginia are going to reset and get themselves ready for a Baron take, which will give them 2.5 minutes to play with. We just don't see the wave clear here for Boise State. A problem with their team composition is that they don't have ways of being able to play on multiple lanes. They can play on at most 2. This Ornn is so far behind, at least individually, that versus a lot of the members of West Virginia, it's going to be tough for him to hold his own. That means that when you play with priority, that's what we talked about early into the draft, it makes it so much easier for you to dictate the pace of the game to your opponents.
And it's so difficult for 7274 in this game because you can take a look at his items. I mean, he's indexed into pretty much full armors. You have a lot of flashes getting burned here, and Sue's looking for the vein here. Brahma's already fallen. Asteria has nobody left, and nary a prayer. It's a double kill for Dinks. Might be looking for a little bit more of the cake. Over on the side will fall. And it is a 4-0 in the end for West Virginia. It looks like they'll try to push to end.
I think this is just the end of the game. 40-second death timers for a lot of Boise State. They've got a mid lane wave they can play with. Inox has almost 6,000 HP. He can tank this, has the Demolish proc. I think that's just going to be game here. West Virginia are going to find their first game win of Division 1.
7-2, 7-4, the Lone Ranger for now, but reconnaissance is going to back him up quickly. You got to buy some time for this vein. Here comes a call. The Forge God coming through, but he got stunned up. It's so problematic. The first turret's going to fall. The Ornn's going to fall. The second turret goes down too. Asteria might be too little too late. He's just looking for anybody to hit. He's going to flash to the side, at least trying to make the flashy play. He will fall, and you are correct. West Virginia are going to win their first game as they look to potentially win the series.
There we go, 14-0 and 5 for Dinks.
What a
This
game.
is exciting stuff. I mean, like a really, really good showing here for West Virginia. And this is probably going to be one of our closest series we see throughout the entirety of the regular season here in Division One. You just look across the board. You look at the kind of the spot that Boise and West Virginia find their rosters in at this time, and this is the battle for who is going to be 8th and 7th here. Out of this team plus University of Utah, one of these three, one of these three teams is going to find themselves in playoffs. And wins versus Boise and Utah are going to be what potentially make or break that for them.
It's going to go a long way for sure. Now, Oak Battery, I have to say, the Boise game plan, I respect that they went with a scaling composition, but it looked like they were a little too gung-ho to fight early, especially in this bottom lane. Had a lead at one point, lost the lead, and then it became very difficult. Well, I'm thinking that maybe they should go something a little more early game oriented in the next game. What do you think?
I mean, sure, but we haven't really seen them play like a strong early game composition. I think what we've seen from Coach Kelsey Moser is that a lot of the game plan strategy for Boise State is just going to be something simple, something that's going to give them tools to be able to play the game even from a deficit, because that is where they find themselves in a lot of these series.
Well, it is always tough to try to pull yourself out of it, but when you give yourself the tools, it certainly is possible. Just wasn't able to in that game. We're going to go ahead and take a short break, and when we return, we're going to come back for game 2 between Boise State University and West Virginia University. Back after this.
Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League.
Welcome back, everybody, to Division 1 League of Legends. Apologies for the extended break. Still having some draft trouble. We weren't able to bring that up for this game, but the teams have drafted, and now we're just awaiting to get in the game. And we do have a little bit of information on these drafts. A side swap, we have West Virginia going to be on blue side this time.
Yeah, they went for a first pick, Zeri, who we've been seeing just across the board really start to gain in priority despite some of the crit itemization being a little bit weaker. We saw in this league by itself for Division 1 that Zeri Lulu has been very popular over in EU Masters, or EMEA Masters, I should say. I know we're seeing a lot of Zeri there as well, so it's interesting to see that this champion is popping up with very few changes in my mind that would bring her back.
And the rest of the squad is certainly a murderer's row of thick boys. Swain, Mundo, and Udyr to place around this area. Emilio, I mean, like, listen, if there's ever a game where, like, we're putting in our 80 carry soldiers, it's this one.
We're also having Emilio alongside it. This is a really tanky team composition from West Virginia. Yeah. I know you guys can't see it. We have the drafts available to us, so I'll try to convey it as best as possible.
Paint the picture.
Zeri, Emilio, Swain, Mundo, Udyr. There is a lot of frontline. My worry might end up being that into what we see from Boise right now, I don't know if they necessarily have the range to match their opponents.
Yeah.
And if they start to fall behind, if they'll have the damage to get in front of their opponents.
Just taking a look at the Boise composition, they went with Maokai Rel on 1-2 on the red side. Then they followed it up with a Graves, and this is where they picked the Swain, and then the Graves came out. And then in the second half, more range coming out for Boise. They went with Tristana as Azir, pretty good into the Swain. I like Tristana's ability to be able to hop out of trouble if necessary, but also be able to move in if the tanks stay up a little too long and soak up a little bit too much damage.
There's a lot of setup here. The thing that I'm seeing from Boise is that they've gone for something that, like I said before, for Kelsey Moser, it's let's just give ourselves tools to be able to play even from a deficit, because that's where we're going to find ourselves in a lot of series here in the season. So Azir plus Tristana, great range. Both of these champions have a lot of agency themselves to both get in and out of fights. We kind of look at the top side of the map. I'm a little bit worried because if this is Mundo Jungle versus Graves, I think I'm like, okay, I'm a little less concerned. But Udyr versus Maokai, Mundo versus Maokai, neither of these matchups are very fun to play. Swain in lane versus Azir is very difficult for Azir to move, to get him to kind of push him out and move him out of lane. So it's about whether or not we can actually see them play a proper team fight. They'll have great setup with a Rel and Maokai. Just outside of that, I think that their front line is a little weak, and that is what I think could end up biting them.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that the ball's really in Hydro's hands in this one, Ego, because he's going to be the strongest champion on the map for quite some time, to be honest with you, especially in this early going, right? Tristana does have a little bit of power, but Azir for the first couple objectives is going to be relatively weak. You're just going to have the Emperor's Divide that's going to bring you the good value. And on the other side, I mean, it's not like Swain, Mundo, and Udyr will deal a lot of damage, but these fights will go long. And if they do, it's going to be very problematic.
Well, let's see who we can get. We've got Slayer, fellow on-air broadcast talent here, as well as in the Twitch chat. Mountaineers versus Broncos. How would these two mascots even fight? Well, typically you would just have two people in their mascot uniforms, and they would fight. I guess I'd have to go check what Boise State's Bronco looks like.
I mean, if it's the mascots in the suits, I mean, I'm just, I don't even know which mascot
Buster
I'm actually
Bronco.
taking.
Okay, so I know we can't possibly fly this on the stream. I am actually going to ask, not our producers, but for all the program directors that are either going to be watching this game live or elsewhere, if you could get us clean media shots of your mascots, I feel like there's something that we could do here for content.
Yeah, absolutely. We could potentially make mascot fights. I don't know if you've ever seen Death Battle. Maybe mascot fights. I don't know if any of us have the depth to be able to make something like that.
Okay, well, already I'm giving the Mountaineers the edge on this win because, one, their mascot doesn't even wear like a huge helmet, and for everybody who doesn't know, they also have a gun.
Yeah. Not to go that way, but gun versus horse.
Gun versus fists. Like, we talk about a knife and bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Maybe, hey, listen, the Bronco maybe just goes that hard. Be like, I don't care. I got my fists. That's all I need.
I hope for I hope for Buster's sake that he can make it through.
Buster's got a bob and weave. To be honest with you, if you're able to dodge the first one, that looks like a musket. You're gonna have to repowder that thing. You got time. That's a lot of time on the reload.
Yeah. Okay. For everybody at home, you might be wondering, can casters please start the game? Well,
the answer might be.
I have news for you. Throw it up.
Not yet. We didn't listen.
I'm sorry, guys.
Listen, all right. The power has been a little bit exhausted, right? You and I have had particularly long years. The juices. We need the time to recoup the juice.
Well, for production, there's also a game that's not technically supposed to be scheduled for today, right? Usually our broadcast is a Sunday, Monday type schedule. There it is. It was a little delayed. As we know, there's spectator delay in the client. We have to also have it here for production, so there was a bit of a delay when we hit the caster start the game button, but we are here. It is end up going to be a Mundo top lane and Udyr jungle, which, as I had noted when we were talking about the draft beforehand, I still think either way, this is still at a pretty big advantage here for West Virginia. We're trying to go for a level 1, which I think makes sense when you have a Mundo and a Grave, when you have a Graves and a Rel, but walking into this team is really, really dangerous.
God, I love this. It's just so entertaining just because you never know if they're going to run into each other or never see each other.
Oh my god.
Okay. Oh, goodness.
Gotta take the safe path. Inox, Nick, cancel the recall, just walk top. A lot of good vision plays. None from Boise State. Feel like a little bit of laziness there. They did take double sweeper level 1, so they are at a disadvantage when it comes to the actual ward count itself, but not having those two, not having any kind of vision to try to spot out where the enemy jungler is going to potentially hurt them. We'll see how West Virginia are able to play this. We're seeing a level 1 start again.
All right, Reconnaissance going to walk in and flash on top of Ensues. Asteria is just out of range and can't proc the E. Ensues is going to walk up and take a little bit of extra damage.
I just don't think this matters, right? Like, Ensues is going to have a bit of a tough time walking back in the lane, but he has the shield available to him. He's also going to have the cozy campfire that gives him HP. I think this is perfectly fine as a start here for the Mountaineers. We say that. There's finally the flash coming out from Ensues.
Level 2, and now we're going to leap in and look for Ensues. Like this play out of Asteria, but again, can't get more than one auto attack off. It's going to severely hamper your damage. It looks like Ego clearing out on the Gromp. Not sure if he was spotted on that ward or if it was pinged out. Sure that it may have been. But I like that you mentioned...
he was spotted on Gromp.
I like that you mentioned that not getting the ward down is going to be really, really tough for Boise, specifically because there are opportunities to, as a Graves, potentially take advantage of an Udyr. Now, you're just not going to have them.
Yeah, it would have to been very early. He also would have had to start on the opposite side again. If Boise had extra vision, they would have had that information to be able to make that trade, make that play for themselves. You can see it's tough, though. This matchup is very interesting because as long as Zeri is sitting under her turret, the Tristana can chip away at her, but there's no possibility for this Rel to get much done. So it comes at a cost where Tristana is always going to have permanent priority thanks to her explosive charge and the passive that's available. I want to see Boise State open up their bot lane, let Reconnaissance get active on the map, see if they can make something happen. It's tough to get any work done, though, because you look at the lane matchups, it's tanks and top side, and you're playing into a Swain mid. You have to be able to get those summoner spells early.
Well, let's see if they do any sort of swapping. We didn't see any swapping in the first game, and not quite sure if we'll expect to see any here, but we will see Ego up on the top side, looking to play a play on the Inox. 72-74 flashes away, and he'll be able to get first blood.
That's exactly what I wanted to see. I mean, Mundo can push around this Maokai early. We're seeing it now answer in mid.
The cake up very far, unable to slide away. Is going to get rooted as well, and the Swain will get one.
All right, so Sour gets the top side scuttle. He's also going to get the second scuttle on bottom lane as well. You're opening up a lead. This champion could be very difficult for Boise to take down if he gets into a good spot in this game. And Sour continues to be one of the most impressive members that we see from West Virginia in the last 2 series.
See if he's able to keep it up here and keep the pressure on. We know that Udyr is one of those champions that really just finds his way around the map constantly. Can be a huge nuisance, show up in top side 1 minute, and the next minute he's on the bottom side, taking it to your bottom lane. It does mean that Ego is going to have to either match this or farm up really, really hard. And so far, down in CS.
Yeah, I think it's fine, though. Like, he did just take his first recall, has the serrated Dirk, so has a lot more damage available to him. Let's see what else we can get from Boise, because Boise State are not quite out of this game. Have a lot of tools to be able to play. Obviously, we talked about the scaling elements of their draft. I think having a Maokai and a Rel make team fights ridiculously easy to play. But this bottom lane for Boise State, which is a very new one, made a couple of critical errors in that last game that led to them losing the game.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to kind of rein it in this time around, if the Broncos can get reined in, because, as I mentioned at the end of the last game, I think with the way that they kind of like to play the game, maybe something a little bit more early game oriented would be better. We're going to see Sour burn that ghost, show up 72-74, up way too far. Yeah, you'll be able to knock him back for now, but you will not be able to actually stop this Udyr.
And right now, Ego was looking to maybe look a play in the jungle, but there's no room for him to do so right now. His mid laner doesn't have priority. We see that Swain's even cheating down towards the bottom side of the map. There's no way for West Virginia to really lose out too much on this play. So all in all, Boise.
All right, and Sue's tagged up, taking a lot of damage. That Ignite went down onto him, but he will stay alive. Dinks treading back as best he can, but sometimes Zeri just doesn't have the sheer firepower that Tristan.
All right, I also want to update everybody on our pick'ems. We had, obviously, for the both of us, Hydro at 7.5 on the over, Aeolios on 6.5 on the over. Currently, Ego is sitting at 0. So
tough.
He's going to have to get 8 here in this game if we want our pick'ems to hit. And for Aeolios, he's already gotten 1 here in this game, and he got 4 in the last one. So getting very close to being able to hit there.
It's doable, right? Especially with the Graves. As Ensues, the shield not going to be able to save you, but Dinks is going to be able to trade back, and Asteria going to leap out. 1-for-1 overall.
Still fine though. You can even see that right now. Sour is pushing Ego out of the bottom side of the map. Wants to try to contest onto these waves. It is going to be Reconnaissance who will be up first, so Sour needs to be very, very particular about how long he stays in the jungle. Otherwise, this could potentially be him losing his life. We're seeing that Ego is contesting him here.
Jockeying for position. Aeolio's going to move over. He's got the priority here. Asteria walking up half HP, but they're going to fancy this fight. It's going to be a 4v2. Aeolio's going to use his ultimate and try to do a lot of damage. The barrier is out, but the demonic ascension. Asteria is going to fall. Ego is so close to dying, and he will fall on the other side. And Sour is going to stay alive. The cake, they turn it around on them, and it's West Virginia dominating early.
But why can't we, as Boise State, just say, look, we're going to trade this bottom side. We had our support be able to move first, and still we weren't able to make that play. We just need to be able to find advantages elsewhere. This is the problem with this matchup now. And Swain, 3-0-2, the top lane player from last week versus Stony Brook, swapping into mid lane, comes up huge on this Swain.
Really big stuff. The bag is deep for this guy. As Sour could be in a little bit of trouble. Going to flash for him. I like this play by Asteria. Is going to be able to claim a shutdown.
Gets the blue buff, also gets this bottom lane wave. It means that Ego should be looking either for these topside camps that are respawning or just go for grubs. Getting grubs for a team that has an Azir and a Tristana is great, and that's one way they can fight back in this game. A good punish onto the opponents.
Ego on the top side going to pick up these grubs, and Suze is going to show up and steal one away.
Wow.
Oh, that's brutal. You had smite up,
He's gonna go for a second one?
Listen, Dinks is here. Ego's got to get out of there.
Oh.
Ego's going to slide up, but Dinks is going to chase after him. Oh,
wait.
no.
I mean, Asteria gets a play bottom side. That's confirmed, 125, so it's solo, but triple of these Void Grubs going over to the Mountaineers. And look at the camps that Sour has open. All 6 of his bottom side, or all 6 of his camps are up and available. So he's going to get paid. He's going to be rich. There's going to be a huge experience differential alongside the gold here for West Virginia. And Boise State just falling behind even more. We talked about maybe there's some early game plays, but it's not working out here.
Sour going to be a very rich man, as you said, maybe going to make some upgrades go maybe away from the musket. Will this Mountaineers? This is getting very, very tough. Ego is going to be able to pick up this red buff and is maybe going to look for Dinks in the top side here. You have to make this play to try to find a way back in. Dinks only has barrier. Comes the Maokai ultimate. He's going to get rooted up. The lightning crash is going to be enough. This is a nice pickup that's going to go the way of Ego. A big shutdown.
Nice. All right. That's exactly what we wanted to see, though. That was a timer where Ensues had walked near mid lane. Good punish coming in from Boise State, but I just don't know how worth it's going to be because now Ego is a little bit behind on his camps. That was a pretty big investment, I think, from Boise State. Just, I think the time loss is the most important thing. And when you're playing in professional play, when you're playing in competitive games, it's a really simple concept of just being able to take turns, and everything has a cost. Everything has a time cost to it, especially. So he's by himself. They know he's here.
Sour is going to hop in and immediately go after Asteria. And the shields and the healing, it's going to be too much to overcome. And now Reconnaissance is stuck. It is going to fall as well. It's 2 kills for Sour.
That was also a really unfortunately timed play from both Asteria and from Reconnaissance. Asteria uses the Buster Shot to push the opponents away, but Reconnaissance, whether it's his crash down or using the Magnet Storm, it stops, it overlaps, and actually pulls Sour back into the play. That could have been their way to get out. Instead, it turns into a 2 kills here for West Virginia, and now they get control of the bottom side yet again 30 seconds before this dragon spawns.
You saw a moment ago, Ego lost this Gromp to Sour. He did the drive-by smite, and we talked about how Ego, that early game strength is going to be something that Boise has to hang their hat on this game, and it's just not happening. He's down so many camps. He's down 1,200 gold right now. This Udyr is just running the map. Inox getting a second plate up top, too.
And they're not winning early, so, like, what is the advantage now for this draft? Yes, they will have buttons to play with as this game goes on, but cool. I mean, you catch Mundo. This is a good punish.
Hang on. Are we sure that it's actually going to be? Surely they're going to get this guy. The ghost is out. The root is there. That should be enough to be able to put him away. He's healing up quite a bit, but the cake will be here to potentially receive the Mundo, and instead 72-74 gets the kill.
Yeah, but he loses a huge wave in topside, and now they're trying to make this play into Aeolios. He has Demonic Ascension. The Dragon's going to be started here by West Virginia. The Broncos have nothing they can play for in this window. Ego finally seeing if he can cross over the river, not going to be able to steal away the Gromp. So, yes, they killed Inox, and that gives them a little bit of breathing room, but I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's meaningful enough of a change here in this game that Boise State can feel confident about their chances in this game number 2.
And this is something that we saw a lot in game number 1, where Boise had to really sell out to make some plays that were somewhat positive, and they would just lose so much for it on the other end. They would lose objectives, they would lose turrets, and now it looks like they're going to lose their top laner's life as Inox is here. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, Lightning Crash, Barriers, Bird, 80 carries, dueling. Dink's going to go back in for seconds, but not actually be able to get a kill.
As soon as Ensues shows on this wave, I feel like Asteria should be feeling really confident to try to make this play. Also still has Buster Shot, so Dink's not going to be allowed back in. Reconnaissance is on the way, is going to get spotted now by this ward. So Dinks has to be careful, doesn't have the barriers, going to have Flash in a few moments. But Ensues is, everybody from West Virginia is on the top side. There's no ability for this 80 carries area to get near the wave.
Inox once again just putting down pressure, playing his idol's favorite champion, doing what he can just to be a nuisance and get gold. We're going to flash down here and look to take out Dinks. Mysteria will get us third.
That's exactly what I wanted to see. Trade the flash. Also get themselves some turret plates. Get themselves some gold. It's about to fall in 20 seconds. And Susan Sauer are here now. Ego is somewhat in the area. It's a single turret plate and a kill. I mean, cool. You've now gotten yourself around 300 gold on top of just what the gold was going to give you.
Sauer up way too far here, and Sue's going to try to help out. Do they have enough damage to actually take him down? But the slow coming through from the Swain, so clutch from down.
That Vision of Empires, super far range, by the way. I think it has almost like, depends on what he's how many points he's putting
too
into
far.
it. I know that they've incentivized trying to make it a second skill max, depending on what build you're going for. But yeah, it's got some pretty long range. You can see that it helped that slow that you were mentioning as well. Dragon spawns in 2.5, and Boise State, they invested a lot to try to see if they can punish Sauer. It's another Gromp being stolen. And now he can just cross through mid. Aeolios, I mean, fine in mid lane. I wonder if he's literally just going to walk across the lane and try to contest Ego on his own camps.
Looks like that may not be the case here. Is Dragon, as you mentioned, up still 2 minutes from now, and right now, I mean, West Virginia is still in a good spot, even though the kills have knotted up somewhat. They're still up a decent amount of gold, 2,500. Rift Herald is now on the map. Don't really see a whole lot of interest in it as Sauer is clearing out the spot side, but once he's done there, that could change.
Right. So here comes a really crucial point in the game where Dragon spawns in 2 minutes and Boise State are down 3,000 gold. So as the Broncos, our options are either we are going to walk up into this team fight, we're going to try and play off of our items. Maybe there's a summoner spell that we can try to abuse, that there's a mismatch in one of these lanes. Or do we make a play on the opposite side of the map? I mean, Herald is up and ready to go. I think as Boise State, you would really like to have your carries on 2 items, which they're really close to, especially for Asteria. We're getting a fight in bottom lane. That was Asteria jumping forward.
Oh, flashing forward is Dinks. Asteria will be able to walk away. Does have that barrier, so he wants in. It's double shields coming through. The Buster Shot, not enough damage. And Dinks going forward. He's able to find the kill. And now it's supportal combat with Ensues having a lot of HP on the top side, though. Coast to coast kills happening.
Inox helps get that kill on the top side. The bottom lane, unfortunately, Dinks, he got to feel a little bit what Graves feels. He didn't have his E anymore, so he doesn't get the punch through throughout the fight. There's a current pause on our screen. I don't know what's happening.
You know what?
For everybody at home, it's not just a pause.
Yep, we're in a pause right now. We'll see what happens. by the end of it. Now, you mentioned there's an opportunity for Boise to go cross map. I think that has to be the play, right? Once this dragon is up, I don't think that you can straight up fight. This is a team that has good scaling, with the Azir, with the Tristana. You just have to play for those conditions and just stay away. Do not bleed out any more kills. Don't bleed out any more gold, because if this gold lead gets any wider, it's going to be a mountain to climb, and it may as well be Mount Everest.
There you go. I don't know. I feel bad because we're going to come into a lot of these series and we're going to be like, okay, Boise State, can they win a game? Can they win just one game here in Division 1? That is, I think, going to be the benchmark for them. Talked about it from even before we started the season, back on Tilt Proof, the Division 1 podcast. Episode 0, the over-under was 0.5 wins here in the year. And while the players have maybe changed, we're seeing some slight improvements from week to week. I think, unfortunately, what we continue to see from the Broncos is that this team, unfortunately, doesn't have some of the same firepower as some of these other lineups. I think also they tend to mechanically misplay some fights. So for Boise, it's going to be a big issue for them about, can we try to level up slightly individually and get some better clicks for ourselves.
Yeah, and one thing to remember is that Boise, when it comes to esports, has had a lot of success in other titles. They haven't really put the largest focus on League of Legends, right? And that's okay. And this is a program that is now looking to develop a little bit more. As you mentioned earlier, the benchmark is, hey, maybe we can win a couple of games, and if we do, maybe we can get to that 6th place slot, right? And if it doesn't happen, that's okay. Again, it's all about the learning experience and building off of something. And even for West Virginia, that is also something to have a look at. And I think that's why I like the way this league is so much, because it's going to give trial by fire at times, with some good opportunities for some of these less experienced teams. And now we have West Virginia all on the bottom side here, really wanting to take care of this dragon, all 5 members down here.
Maybe Dragon going over to West Virginia. Yeah, I like the point about what Boise State's program has looked like from a macro point of view. I think also kind of similar to St. Clair, they're one of the colleges that has a really robust broadcast program.
Yeah.
So
I
want to shout them out for, yeah, exactly. Like, the thing that I most recognize Boise State for from an esports perspective is either going to be their Valorant team or most likely just their broadcast program, kind of similar to St. Clair. So I like what they've been able to do outside of the League of Legends space. It's just, again, like this team is, we came into the season with a lot of pretty low expectations, and this is going to be one of their closer matchups, right? It's this and Utah. The format of this season is single round robin best of 3s. So if they can't win here, then they're going to have to be looking towards Utah to actually give them their first win.
All right, Inox looking to win the 2v1. Meanwhile, on the top side, 72-74 is in a pretty unwinnable 2v1. Rift Herald's going to go down while this is happening. All right, I like the twisted advance tech, but now this has become a 3v1.
Okay, they get a play on top side. This is going to be the turret falling over to Asteria.
All right, Inox looking for the turnaround. Oh, close, but can't quite get it done.
All right, still, just like every time we talk about this, it's like, okay, we got a lead here, but we're losing on the map. There's still a trade happening here for West Virginia. For the Mountaineers, I think kind of exciting that they have a bigger roster than maybe we expected. Obviously, Aeolio's now swapping into mid lane. They have 2 different supports with Cheese Wedge sitting on bench. And
another D1 name. Great name.
There you go. There you go. Technically, all of these names are D1 because we are in Division 1. But, I think it's interesting that West Virginia, despite the series record, have been slightly competitive with some of our teams, not just Boise State. West Virginia last week had some really good plays. No longer is it Sorrow in the mid lane, and so kind of similar. I want to see what this team looks like now with a more consistent lineup, because it is week 3. We're going to be going into week 4, and we're kind of getting to that point where every single win is going to count towards whether or not you actually make playoffs.
All right, I'm going to try to make a play, but Dinks is able to jet set radio over the wall. It's just so tough, right? And Dinks playing well to the wall there. Means that it's just so hard to catch this area. They don't really have any hard lockdown except for the point and click of the Maokai, who's really stuck in this top lane. This Rift Herald gonna get dropped now, not for the Dragon or anything like that, just for a sheer raw power and turret taking ability.
Get the first turret. The Cake can summon in another one. This turret, I mean, this thing just dies. Yeah, like explosive charges there. How do Boise State answer on the side lanes? Mundo is really, really strong by himself right now.
Taking
Still
up
has
turret.
the ultimate.
Yeah, well, also has 4 members going after him. The healing is there. They don't have any heal cut. And he's just walking out. You know, Mundo does indeed go where he pleases, and right now he pleases to get the heck out of there. Otacon gonna get done on the bottom side here for West Virginia.
He said that he's kind of following after his inspiration, Alois. Well, there's that push, push, push strategy coming on through. Like you mentioned, Otacon is going to get taken, so West Virginia, I want to see how many flowers they're able to get off of this. Currently on 18, above the 30 thresh mark, you actually get a little bit more XP and adaptive force from them. They hit 29.
Oh, so close. It's all right. They might be able to find a couple more very soon. It's going to be another kill going down onto the bot lane here. 0-3, the Cake having a rough time.
Well, I got to say, Yanni, another turret falling. Boise State are probably not going to even get any relevant damage on this mid lane turret where they have Hysteria. This is looking more and more like what we came into with this series with. Unfortunate as well, because we're getting a little bit hyped about Boise State's new lineup, but it seems like a lot of the old problems that we've seen throughout this season are still plaguing them. And the Mountaineers are playing very well. I want to give them credit for what they've been able to do, especially Sour.
Yeah, oh my god, Inox. And the 1v4 manages to find one. You know, credit to this guy, right? This is a guy who, we talked about it earlier, you know, competing in League of Legends for the first time has been big when it comes to Valorant. And, you know, showing up for the team, right? And making plays like that, even in a game that appears to be a little one-sided, it's always nice to see.
Yeah, I'm looking at their Valorant team right now, and I think it's funny because you have Dinks and Inox playing on that team. So the fact that you get to have some crossover in titles, it does prove, I think, that they have a lot of mechanical skill. We are seeing, I think, Dinks be a really impressive AD carry for this team if he gets space. And that has been the biggest problem for this team in some of their prior series. It's whether or not they can properly build out time and ability for him to play these fights. He's almost a 3-item Zarya at this point, so imagine that even with the Dragon up, we're going to be seeing West Virginia try to push their lead around the map.
And this is a Zeri's dream, right? 3 tanks, you know, whatever you want to call a Swain at this point in time. You're just grabbing a bunch of health with Emilio on your side. I mean, like, this is get down, Mr. President, if I've ever seen it, right? And Mr. President Dinks is certainly having himself a fine time. And once you pick up that Infinity Edge, it'll get even better. That's going to be Soul Point here for West Virginia. We're going to see a little bit of damage on this mid lane turret, and now we're seeing the pincer come through. It's going to be a 5v4, a lot of damage going down on to this Mundo, but is able to soak so much. Reconnaissance hitting the blast cone, but it's a very slow rel and will be claimed by the Mountaineers.
If I'm Boise State right there, I think the idea of what they're doing is fine. They're reinforcing Hysteria to walk forward, but I think all of them need to be on the minion wave. All of them need to be in a position to be able to fight and then either turn or look towards another part. Sour's just running down this Tristana.
Oh my goodness, he died in the turret too. The barrier's there, but all of a sudden you may have bit off a little bit more than you could chew. And in the end, it's still a 1-for-1.
Still 800 gold plus the shutdown there, so not bad. Turns into West Virginia grabbing themselves another Dragon. It turns into West Virginia and the Mountaineers taking another turret. And now they're pushing on 2 lanes. I mean, you look at the gold lead, it's only 5,000, but you have double Mountain Dragon. This feels like 6 and 7.
It's so brutal. It's so tough for them to slog through here. You know, we have the question of, are they ever going to be able to get their scaling online? They're losing ground more and more. As you said, that gold lead feels a lot wider than it actually is. And in 3.5 more minutes, a Mountain Soul to be claimed will almost assuredly put the bookend on this game.
All right, Baron's up on the table. We're going to see West Virginia take all of their resets and then probably look to play the rest of the map. Still 3 minutes before that next objective. For everybody at home, I want to do a quick check-in. If you are a Pick'ems enjoyer, 7-2-7-4, 9.5 deaths over the first 2 games. Currently only at 6, so the under's looking good. Hydro still needs to make 4 more kills. No, not 4, 5 more kills to be able to hit the over on 7.5. Cheese Wedge has not played any games, so if you took the under there, you're doing great.
Nice. Plus 75, baby. If you're tapped in, you're tapped in.
There you go. There you go. And currently, Aeolios is definitely over his kill marker. So doing good work there.
We'll see if Hydro is maybe able to get there. He's going to need some, but I've seen things happen. We do have a Baron take started up here by West Virginia. They will end up backing off, and the Cake is going to have to try to deal with this Mundo, who's ghosting at him, is walking right through the Emperor's Divide. Once again, Mundo goes where he pleases. Full dive on the turret, too.
Doesn't even matter, and he's getting pressure for his team to start up the Baron. Boise State are going to have to play this 4v5.
Aeolios full engage, but he's got so much HP. Asteria trying to do whatever damage he can, but just not enough. Valkyrie Root came down, but the team is split up, and Sour is looking to take full advantage. Reconnaissance has to operate the wall, but 72-74 is now cut off. He is the one that pays for his team's sins. He is able to flash over the wall, but again, Sour
anyway.
Once more. Dinks hops over the wall, and they're going to claim the life of the Maokai.
And they're going to continue to go for more. Sour?
Yeah, he just doesn't care. He wants ego. He wants to take him out. We got a double kill here for Dinks. He's flashing into Nexus turrets. He gets a triple kill. Will die on the backside, but there's no one left to stop the Mountaineers as they are pushing onto the Nexus turrets. It's the Cake. Asteria has just recalled, but the Cake is sliding away. It's a 2v4. It's your carries trying to hold the line, the barriers, but you have to leap away. The second Nexus turret will fall.
That's it.
Boise State cannot stand up, cannot stop these guys. West Virginia, the Mountaineers, take the series 2-0.
Inox is diving under the Nexus fountain. He tanks it for at least 4 to 5 seconds. West Virginia, man, they find their first game win here tonight, and they'll take their first program victory in Division 1.
Very impressive. A nice milestone to see. Hopefully many more for those guys, Alk Battery. And on the other side for Boise, as we've talked about a lot, it's a learning experience, right? It's going to take some time for things to come together. Again, as we mentioned, a new lineup, sure, both these teams dealing with a couple of changes, but sometimes it takes things a little bit more time to gel for one side than it may the other.
I mean, look, like, obviously West Virginia, they're finding some success over in the Valorant division right now, 2-1 over on there. Here, finally, 1-2, so getting their first series victory, very important for being able to build momentum. My worry is if we look forward into some of these schedules, like, it doesn't get much easier. We're talking about next week, West Virginia are going to have to play against Maryville, and for Boise, they're playing against Winthrop. Like, that's a tough ask, I think.
Yeah, that is might be a wake-up call for West Virginia, you know, after celebrating their win today. It's going to be tough, but hey, you know what? We may expect Maryville to potentially win that series, probably win that series, but we can look for the good in things. I want to see what West Virginia is going to be able to bring to the table. I want to see if they're going to be able to, you know, maybe get some advantages in places you might not expect. I'll say that Maryville has not played some of the cleanest League of Legends I've ever seen them play so far this season.
Yeah, but we have expectations for them to be Titans here.
Yeah.
We are going to kick it to a short break while we get our interview ready with West Virginia's Dinks. You won't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back.
League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard.
Welcome back, everybody, to the show here, Division 1. We are just getting in with an interview with Dinks, the 80 carry from West Virginia University. Dinks, congratulations on your team's victory here today.
Thank you.
All right, so I have to ask, the first thing I want to ask, that second game, that comp, how much did you love having that composition with all these tanks around you and having Emilio to back you up?
I'm not gonna lie, I was having fun. I just could run in, do whatever I want, just E in, just do the damage.
I wanted to ask, like, obviously there's a new bot lane coming in for Boise, but in that first game, like, was there any specific stuff that you guys had going in? Like, what does prep look like at West Virginia?
Well, currently, I play mainly on the Valorant team, so I don't have too much time to practice for the League team, but they just like me on hyper carries, so we just play around me being able to farm, and we don't really think too much about the other lane or the other opponents for right now.
Okay. What do you think has been the most interesting part about playing in both titles? Because I know you're a pretty decent Valorant player, but League is a little bit different, so I wanted to get your experience.
Yeah, I mean, I actually started my career competing in League for a bit, then I switched to Valorant, so I have some experience competing in League. But I mean, on Valorant, I feel like I can compete with everyone, but on League, I'm definitely like on the back foot a bit, trying to compete with everyone. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Okay.
It's certainly tough, something like that to overcome, but so far so good, at least for today. Now looking ahead, next week, guys are playing Maryville in both titles. How are you feeling going into that week of game or that weekend of games, knowing that you're pulling double duty against a program too, with Valorant and League that is just so good?
Yeah, honestly, for next week, we're going in with a mentality of like trying our best. Of course, we want to win first, but we don't have expectations for that game. We're just trying to get better as a team and try to get chemistry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at your team. You guys have a lot of, like, at least on the League team, it's a lot of juniors/seniors. So, wanted to ask, like, when you look across both squads, what are the vibes over on West Virginia? Like, do you guys hang out a lot outside the program? What is your interaction with the rest of the teams?
Oh, I mean, with the League team, I've only met these guys a couple weeks ago. We played, talked in Discord, but outside the game, we don't have. At least I didn't have time to hang out with them too much. But with my Valorant team, always trying to do stuff outside the game, trying to just be friends outside the game. I think that's very important.
Do you have any like fun stories with the boys hanging out? Well, we can keep it to the Valorant side, obviously, but
With the Valorant side, I mean, started this year, we went to a sushi place that's close by here, and let's just say that Guck on the Valorant team made the experience very interesting with the waiter, with his personality. You can imagine.
oh man.
Oh jeez. No, that's hilarious, man. And credit to you and all the other guys over at West Virginia who are pulling double duty on both teams. Before we go, do you have any shout outs to anybody?
I mean, try my for director. Try to see me on both teams.
Oh
And-
yeah, it's you and Inox, right? You and you guys both are both on both sides.
Yeah,
So-
Alex not currently playing on the Valorant team. He's the sub,
okay.
but yeah.
All right.
Got it.
Well,
Hey, still stuff you got to do. Still time you got to put in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Dinks, is there, as we close up this interview, is there any like shout outs, any trash talk you want to do, whether it's either for the League Division or the Valorant side?
Well, I'll just say for the league team or league side, I am very confident in my mechanics, so I believe I can take almost anyone 1v1 on the ADC role.
I love that. You're gonna have an opportunity to prove it next week, my friend.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Good. Love a guy who is ready to go and take himself to the challenge. Dinks, thank you very much for your interview, and thank everybody here because that's all we got tonight, Alk Battery. But next week we have a full battery of matches: Stony Brook versus Utah, Ohio State versus St. Clair. That'll be on Sunday, and then on Monday, West Virginia versus Maryville, as we just alluded to, and then Winthrop versus Boise State. Alk, do you have any thoughts on those matchups before we head out?
I really am excited for that Ohio State and St. Clair game.
Mhm.
I have been on the war train that Ohio State is the fourth best team here in Division 1, and this week of games was kind of going to be my prove it. Unfortunately, against Winthrop, they kind of got slammed, and similarly with Stony Brook versus Maryville, that was also pretty big wash. So I'm hoping that with slightly less difficult opponents here for OSU, that against a top 3 program like St. Clair, that they're going to be able to make the difference and really prove to me and hopefully the rest of the audience here that they're going to make top 4.
Yep, want to see them potentially punch above their weight here. It should be a really excellent match to watch. But that will do it for us here this evening. So for myself, my co-caster Alk Battery, for Ice and Caddy behind the glass, and for the entire Division 1 family, we want to thank you all so much for being here with us this evening. And we hope to see you next weekend for some more Division 1 action.
Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact. Every correct pick earns you points. The more points you score, the higher you climb on that leaderboard. At the top, you'll find prizes waiting for you at the end of the split. It's easy to play, adds excitement to every match, and keeps you connected with the action all season long. So lock in your picks, track your progress, and see if you've got what it takes to top the Division 1 Pick'ems leaderboard. Think you know how today's matches will play out? Prove it with Division 1 Pick'ems. Follow along and put your predictions to the test. Each week, you can make your picks for both Valorant and League of Legends, or just stick to your favorite game. Predict the winners of our future matches and choose the players you think will have the biggest impact.